SpongeBob episode, Sponge Could Fly, that aired in March 2003. It was dubbed the Lost Episode by its commercials based on its episode storyline, whereas Patchy the Pirate uses a treasure map to find SpongeBob episode that he lost. The night before the episode was aired, I was sick with the norovirus. I was vomiting almost every 5 minutes and feeling too ill to fall asleep. So I stayed up to watch TV. Around 2:30 a.m., my stomach started to settle. So I planned to turn off the TV to try to fall asleep. When I was reaching for my remote control, the opening for the SpongeBob TV show started playing. SpongeBob was my favorite show at the time, so I couldn't miss out watching it, although I thought it was strange that they were showing SpongeBob in the middle of the night, but I didn't think much of it. When the opening played, I noticed that the contrast of the animation was slightly darker than usual, and the theme song sounded a bit harsh and raspy. It made me feel a little uncomfortable, but I also tried brushing that off. The title card read The Lost Episode, so I figured out there was a mishap and Nickelodeon was accidentally airing A Sponge Could Fly. When the episode started playing, I immediately looked out of the ordinary. It started out with SpongeBob sitting on his bed, watched and looking downward with the somber look on his face. This is definitely not like himself. SpongeBob is optimistic all the time. Why do he acting like this? After about 10 seconds of seeing SpongeBob like this, he let out a big sigh, and he looked over his bedside barrel. The screen zoomed in on a pill bottle that was sitting beside the clock. Once the screen zoomed in close enough to read the text on the bottle, it showed that it was a Prozac bottle. The show then panned to a scene of much brighter contrast, showing SpongeBob taking one of the pills and started running up and smiling and laughing. The fact that SpongeBob had to take pills to be well himself made me feel uneasy, especially because of mental disorders and antidepressants are more major themes that obviously should find a place in any kid's cartoon. It should be noticed that this was seen as a show intended for kids. The screen then flipped back to the original scene of SpongeBob looking distressed, while at the same time changing the contrast back to the darker one. The screen froze on SpongeBob for a few seconds and flickered to a new scene. This scene showed SpongeBob at his desk, the same one that he was in the episode Procrastination with his Prozac bottle, a piece of paper and a pencil. In this scene, instead of staying in one contrast, the colors kept on flickering from the light to dark. SpongeBob gripped the pencil in his hand and a tear rolled down his face. A part that bothered me the most was that the tear didn't look like the usual blue cartoon-style tears the characters of SpongeBob usually cry out. This tear looked completely realistic, as if there had been a drop of water rolling down my TV from his eye. SpongeBob wiped the tear from his face with his sleeve and began to write on the paper, reading out loud that he was writing. "I can't take it anymore," as he said. As soon as he got the sentence out, a faint noise started playing in the background. It sounded like a child crying. This noise continued playing as SpongeBob continued writing. "My life has been horrible and it hasn't gotten better. My best friend Patrick is only my best friend because he doesn't know any better. My neighbor Squidward hates my guts. He would probably be happy if I wasn't around anymore." SpongeBob stopped writing and talking and started weeping loudly. The color flicking started getting faster. The cries in the background started getting louder. It sounded like the more children were beginning to cry. It couldn't just been my imagination, but I remember hearing one of the children very faintly yell, "He's gonna do it!" The children's cries getting louder and the colors keep flickering faster as SpongeBob keeps writing. The only job I can get is being a fry cook at the Krusty Krab. My boss, Mr. Krabs, refuses to give me an actual paycheck, and he basically uses me to get more customers. I'm in my 20s, and I still don't have my driver's license. Sandy's the only girl I ever had in my life, and even she's just a friend. She never had any interest in me. I'm pretty sure that she's only my friend because she feels sorry for me. I'm sorry if I'm hurting anyone at all for doing this, but I just can't live like this anymore. The screen froze for a few seconds, and his show continued SpongeBob writing his final sentence. The contrast stayed dark instead of flickering the light to dark. The children started crying. It was absolute silence instead of SpongeBob saying goodbye. The cries came back. SpongeBob quickly stood up and twisted out the lid of the Prozac bottle. He tipped his head back, let all the pills in the bottle fill into his mouth, and swallowed them all whole. The screen switched to sport, and the animation was darker, but still visible. SpongeBob crossed his stomach and vomited realistic pale greenish-orange stomach bile. It was clear that his body was trying to clean itself from the overdose, but it was no use. SpongeBob collapsed onto the floor and lay there motionless until the screen turned static. Needless to say, I was scared out of my mind, and sleep was out of the question. Recently, I've been looking for this episode all over the internet, but not even a one episode seems to have it. If you recognize this episode, please let me know. That was scary. I feel sorry for SpongeBob and all the characters in SpongeBob. But I'm not usually sick with a norovirus. I'm fine. Just this guy in the story.